So this is an active situation. Just to put this on your radar, nothing against this athlete. Good for Blair. Blair, is somebody who's a champion athlete. The problem here is that even Blair Fleming's own teammate has joined in this lawsuit and is saying this is not fair that the teammate, a biological female, was forced to share student housing with a biological male. And again, same kind of a story that you stifle, woman. You are oppressed. Your First Amendment rights are completely, violated here, according to the lawsuit. And so at the same time, many coaches and many teams are forfeiting because of the threat of lawsuits, by the way, by these students who fear that they will be injured, and there have been injuries reported. And so they're saying, out of safety, we cannot play against this team with this biological male individual. And so we're forfeiting the game. They have to forfeit a loss, but now this is something that's brewing. So NCAA being sued, and they're doing this through lawsuits. And so what will local schools do? I'll ask you the question, what will local schools and school boards decide to do in an effort to avoid the lawsuits are coming? Because this is happening here, it's happening across the nation, and this is the Biden-Harris administration essentially saying, you stifle, you shut up. And I'm going to ask you something, where else have you heard this? Are you hearing this being talked about, being discussed? I'm not. Why isn't it in the news? You know why? Because it's a losing issue. Any parent or grandparent, look into it for yourself and then tell me this should not be political. There is a kind and good way to handle this. I'm not putting anybody down. You know me. But this is not right. And it's a violation of the constitutional rights of every female, whether you're a girl, whether you're a young woman. This is a violation. And we need to stand up for our girls. I'm not your voice. Riley Gaines doesn't want to be your voice. She is saying it is time for you to voice your opinion. Stand up now or never, girls and women. 855-839-1210. Great interview with a hero chopper pilot just ahead. Be right back.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 40-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost you about $100 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-353-9057. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life insurance, call 800-353-9057, 800-353-9057, or biglou.com.
This is Jean Marie Laskus with the podcast Cement City. So there's this election coming up, a big one, and one guy's been indicted. People are talking voter fraud. Democracy itself is on the line. Sound familiar? Well, this isn't that election. This one is in Donora, Pennsylvania, a dying town in the middle of nowhere, where I bought a house and stayed for 3 years. Listen to and follow Cement City, an Odyssey original podcast in partnership with Cement City Productions, available now for free on the Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
The leaves are changing color, the air is crisp, and it's the perfect time to fall into savings on a luxurious new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. Take advantage of these incredible offers. A 2025 XC40 for only $435 per month on a 36-month lease. A 2024 C40 for only $329 per month on a 36-month lease. Or get 3.99% financing on select new Volvos for 72 months. See store for details. Customers enjoy the stress-free and satisfactory experience Cherry Hill Volvo provides. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. You may know me from my book, Money Hacks. You may know me from my radio shows, and you may even know me from some of these commercials. But listen, I'm teaching stuff that people need to learn about money. In fact, my favorite topic is money. So go to investorschooling.com and you will learn things about money that you never even knew existed. We will teach you things about real estate, about the stock market, and about how to use your IRAs properly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
Hey, Warminster, we know your favorite station is WPHT.
Tell your smart speaker to play 1210 WPHT.
So a lot of developing stories involving Donald J. Trump. In a moment, we'll have him reacting to this latest filing by Jack Smith, special prosecutor, and the new revelations in court yesterday as special prosecutor Jack Smith, of course, filing that huge filing. Remember, he had to ask permission to the judge, Tanya Chutkan. He had to ask permission if he could have a larger than normal filing. Donald Trump furious and firing back at this D.C. This is a D.C. federal judge. And so they made public, with a few redactions, yes, but this is now public. Most of these motions, and I told you earlier this morning on Kale and Company, even the New York Times, as they profile the situation, they're talking about the fact that it's really nothing new. You have some details, but essentially they're saying it's even the New York Times is saying it's not a whole lot that's new in this largely unsealed briefing. So the prosecutor is saying, no, this is new evidence. Yes, details, that's true, but the focus of it, not really anything new. So we're putting that, I just want to tell you what the New York Times is saying.
You did address it in an interview yesterday on News Nation.
Yes.
You respond to that?
He's a deranged person. I call him deranged Jack Smith. He just lost the big documents case. That was the biggest of them all. They said the documents case, and they said that was the toughest of them all. Let me tell you, we just won it, and it was won strongly and completely, and it was a total victory in Florida. And he is a person who is trying, and he works for Kamala and he works for Joe. This was a weaponization of government, and that's why it was released 30 days before the election. And it's nothing new in there, by the way, nothing new. They rigged the election. I didn't rig the election. They rigged the election.
So the Trump's defense team has until October 17th to file their response to this huge mammoth filing, which already, we're hearing that, of course, the Trump defense team is going to say, Your Honor, this is an unprecedented, it's a larger than normal filing. There's no way we can come back with a full response by October 17th. We need to delay that. And so that, of course, is expected. And even, like I said, the New York Times, in their final line, as they say, after both sides have filed court papers laying out their opposing views, Judge Chutkan will decide which parts of Trump's election interference indictment should survive the Supreme Court's immunity ruling and which parts will have to be thrown out. But even the New York Times, as they talk about big decisions ahead, they acknowledge that this will most likely end up back with the Supreme Court, and it's expected that it's going to be thrown out. I mean, and so all of these headlines, ABC News, a bombshell. The only bombshell is how big the filing is, and maybe you like reading into those details, and you can. Everybody's covering it. But let's listen as also, what else did Trump say in this interview? And I forget now.
Yeah, just coming up this weekend, he's going to be visiting Butler, Pennsylvania. I think he'll be visiting as well.
Yes. So he's talking about the security in this one, right? And
yeah, whether or not he's
concerns?
nervous, worried about coming back.
And are you worried about safety, security concerns here this weekend?
Well, I'm always worried. I think that the White House isn't treating us very good. I get crowds that are 10 times bigger than anybody else, 20 times bigger than anybody else, and we're entitled to security. The White House makes it very difficult.
So, would you be concerned? Does he have a right to be concerned that he feels as if DOJ, the weaponization of this, and in fact that they do have rules? Remember the Hillary Clinton situation with her bleached her bleached server and so on and so forth, and what happened? Remember the big announcements? As we know, that it was right before an election, and they said, you know what, it's our policy that this close to an election, we're not going to file anything, we're not going to do anything. And yet, in this administration, about a month before a major election, they are breaking their own rule. And this is unusual. There's more from Trump today, though. Right? Is there more? Or was that it?
No, that was it.
Okay, I thought you said there were three.
Yeah,
sorry
about that.
So that's all right. I thought there was a little more, but I thought that was good that they got the reaction. And so, for Trump, he's not speaking out of school here. I want to ask you something, though. When we talk about disenfranchised voters, those voters that Scott Presler always talks about, who are Second Amendment people, maybe landowners, Amish, what have you, who feel that the system is rigged and feel that their vote does not count. When Trump, and he says, so he's just saying it again in this recent interview, that he felt that the election was rigged. Is that a mistake that he continues to say that? I don't have tangible evidence. So you know me by now. I'm a stickler as a news person. If I have tangible evidence showing something, look, do I have people constantly reporting things to me? Yes. But until I have all of this tangible evidence, I'm not going to say something to you without that. Trump, maybe he has briefings, he has knowledge of different things that I don't have access to. But is it, in a sense, is he confirming the fears of voters right now who are Republicans who would vote for him, where he's essentially, sending a message, well, it's a rigged system, so why even bother? Is that a mistake on his part? 855-839-1210. I asked the question. I have to break because we'll talk more about Trump. We'll talk more certainly about Riley Gaines and the effort by these female athletes to advocate and support girls' rights, women's rights. What happened? Where's the women's rights movement, by the way? Where is that? I mean, my goodness, talk about Me Too and what happened to Me Too. So we'll talk about all of that, but we have this great story of a chopper pilot, a hero pilot who's been going viral, who saved a baby, but also was critical of President Joe Biden's visit and why it was really interrupting some of those life-saving services and some of the frustration that was happening. So we'll talk to this hero pilot right around the corner.
I wanted to play some of the clips before the break, Dawn, if you wouldn't mind, because I'm still waiting to hear back from the pilot, because how this works is we're in communication with Jonathan Howard. Jonathan Howard is a Florida State Guard Special Missions Unit guy, and you've probably seen him on social media talking about organizing the effort of private helicopters flying around the Carolinas doing some life-saving rescue efforts. He's sitting on the tarmac of the airport down there in Asheville right now. I'm texting back and forth with him. We're probably going to get him on here in about 5 or so minutes, but I just want to set the stage real quick. Thank you.
That's why Dan's the best.
So Jonathan Howard, the guy that's doing this, is also going to be joined by Zeb Hadley, and he tells the story in the post here, and I just want to play back a little minute 30 clip of him setting the stage as to what's going on down there. Take a listen.
Here's the problem. I'm going to tell you everything that's happening from the ground, what I'm actually seeing, because what they're telling you is complete bullshit on the news, and these politicians don't have a clue and they're lying. And I'll say this now, I'll say it at the end of the video. The only thing I need from this video is helicopters. If I have helicopters, I can save lives. Without helicopters, I can't reach these people. It doesn't matter how many chainsaws and trucks I got, I can't get to them. They're 10 miles in, 20 miles, 40 miles in the mountains. There's no way to get with them or even communicate with them. I am literally flying around in a civilian helicopter looking for SOS messages carved in the mud or painted on the ground, and we're dropping down and saving them. What got me fired up about this was yesterday, me and my team did the rescue of that 11-day-old baby. And all these government officials and social media, they're showing that video, that pictures and video of that rescue, and claiming that like they have some like government helped with that. And I mean, even USA, I think it was USA Today, wrote an article about it saying it was a Florida National Guard that went and got it, like with a helicopter. No, it was me, my buddy Charlie, and a civilian named Zeb with his own personal helicopter out of Wilmington, North Carolina. Like without that civilian, that baby would be dead. And the old lady we went and rescued after that, she'd be dead too because she had 1 day left of oxygen.
My God.
No one was going to go get them.
And so these guys are heroes. And so this is where the media, and you hope that it's just misinformation or disinformation, but how is it? There are some stations that are properly reporting that these are private choppers. The problem here is this death toll has now risen to more than 190 victims, and we're hearing tragically that these first responders who are trying to assist those in need, there are so many hundreds of people still missing, they cannot get to them. And in this case, thank God, Wilmington resident Zeb Hadley, who he referred to, helped save this 11-day-old prematurely born baby. And the 87-year-old lady he referred to in need of her oxygen. And so they are heroes among us, for sure. But they are not getting, these are private operators. They're not getting government help. They're not FEMA and that sort of thing. So we're hearing more and more tragically just this morning that many of the rescue crews, and some of them coming, I've told you about this, they left more than a week ago heading down there. Their rescue operations are turning into recovery operations. That's important wording. You know what that means, right? That it's no longer that you can hold out hope that you will rescue someone alive, but rather recover these bodies. Oh my goodness. Still fast moving water and out spinning in the Atlantic, this other storm that they're already saying is going to cause, some dangerous storm surges and that sort of thing along the coast. And so we're watching that very carefully. I hope to God they don't get more rain, but that's the fear here. So hopefully we get our hero chopper pilot, hear about how because I know you want to know, how can we help directly with those who are the heroes in this situation. More updates and hopefully our hero chopper pilot just ahead. Thanks for being here. 855-839-1210. Be right back.
Hey, did you hear? Wawa has classic hoagies for just $6.
Any classic hoagie?
Yeah, any classic hoagie.
What about the cheesesteak?
$6.
Meatball?
$6.
What about the Italian hoagie?
It's $6 for a classic. I shouldn't even have to ask, but what do you want for lunch?
Hoagies at Wawa, of course.
Right now, get any Wawa Classic Hoagie for $6. Gotta have a Wawa.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at Cherokee High School in Marlton, New Jersey, Saturday, October 26th. It's the story of Philadelphia sports put to music.
Oh, I thought it was awesome. It was funny and great band. His imitation of the Bee Gees.
The stylistics and stuff, I just love that.
Oh, it was great. This is the third time we've seen him. He's awesome.
I can relate to Joe Conklin. Great variety. There was something for everyone.
That's Conklin with City Rhythm at Cherokee High School in Marlton, New Jersey, Saturday, October 26th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
And so many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. Each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Honey, I'm going to Wawa for dinner.
Okay, but Ben wants pizza.
Yep.
And Nick wants a burger and fries.
Right.
Oh, and the twins, they won't touch anything except for mac and cheese.
Exactly. Wawa has something for everyone for dinner, so I only have to make one stop to make everyone happy. So, what do you want?
Well, if you're going to Wawa, I have to have a hoagie.
From burgers to hoagies and everything in between, Wawa has dinner for everyone.
Rich Zeoli. Seoli.
Laura Lee Trump. Now, Kamala Harris lied about working at McDonald's.
I believe there was an episode of The Apprentice or something where he did actually have to work at McDonald's. So between the two of them, Donald Trump can actually say he worked at McDonald's. I would buy some fries for him, though, because I can tell you he knows his McDonald's fries. Don't kid yourself. That's a staple on the airplane when you fly with him.
And Laura, they would be the crispiest fries ever. Unbelievably crispy.
Rich Seoli, weekday afternoons 3 to 7. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT. And on the free Odyssey app. Free speech in Philly on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. 1210. WPHT.
So Hurricane Helene now, with the death toll rising and hope fading in the searches for this, what is now, it is a flooding disaster. So I know that there are 1,000 active duty soldiers joining the North Carolina National Guard and delivering those supplies, food, water to those isolated communities. That's the problem here. But we have hundreds of people missing, hundreds still missing. And so it appears that as now the death toll is surpassing 200, that's what we're hearing, more than half of the deaths in North Carolina, as I've been reporting, with hundreds still missing. This is historic and tragic, and it's exceeding what we saw in Katrina. That's what they're saying.
I hate to do this to you, Dawn, but sometimes in live radio this happens. We're talking just before the break, John Howard, the hero out there who's doing the helicopter effort of the private helicopters. I just got on the phone with him during the break, and you could hear the blades whirring in the background. He said, blades are fired up right now. He's got to get up in the air. There's something, happening in this rescue effort. I guess someone needs rescue. So he said he's going to try to get on at some point during the show today. No promises, because he is a busy man, as you can imagine right now. But we spoke to him during the break. Chopper noises in the background.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, doing it live. We will hopefully hear from him soon.
And you think about this, so whether it's during this, and that's the beauty of being live and local right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, is that, I don't know how long his mission or missions are going to take. So hopefully he'll call in during the Dom show between noon and 3, or maybe during the Seoli show this afternoon, between 3 and 7. So we'll get him on. We want to hear from him and thank him.
And talking with him earlier, you mentioned that there's another storm on the way, and there's all this, and there's weather. He's got to just take perfect opportunity when he has the weather to get up in the air, to get there and search for, and what he's doing, he's looking for SOS signals, that kind of thing. And right now it looks like a good time to get up there, so it didn't work out.
And you think about that, people who, especially those, like we talked about, the 11-day-old baby been born prematurely, and with this dire situation needed immediate aid. We had an elderly person who needed their oxygen, people whose medication ran out, people just in the water, hanging on, clinging to life. And you think about that. Yep. And please, say a prayer, as we've all been praying for these people, that they will be and can be airlifted, rescued. And that's just it, that they are seconds away from perhaps this doom. And that's why this guy and his team and those who are heading there are real heroes. Also, I should say, they're helping to transport doctors. So you have maybe medical facilities where, I know one of the stories was there was at least one hospital in Raleigh, North Carolina. They were trying to transport, bring the doctors to areas where people just need help, and it's dire. And so they're setting up these makeshift hospitals or medical centers as they're just trying to bring the help to people where they have maybe a larger group, a small town or something. But it's a dire, horrible situation that they're facing. I know that the Georgia's governor, we're just minutes away, I believe, from some live updates finding out about the situation in Georgia. And then we have, I know Joe Biden is touring the areas, North Carolina yesterday.
He's got to watch himself, though.
Yes.
Because just back to Jonathan, he put out a video yesterday, and I was mentioning the good weather that he has right now and the opportunity to get in the air, but this happened yesterday.
Right now it's beautiful, it's sunny, and we should be out flying right now, but me and Charlie are sitting here on the ground waiting for our helicopters to get back, but we won't be able to go out probably till later this afternoon because Joe Biden is flying in, and they put up a temporary flight restriction in this entire area. So what we decided to do was put our search and rescue teams on the helos right now before the TFR goes in effect, fly up to the mountains, drop them off so they can go rescue people. And then our helicopters have to go even further north to another airport to get approval with a squawk code. They have to go there in person. They won't give it to us over the phone. That way they can fly in the TFR. And they're not going to have enough time to come back here, get us, and then go do a mission because from about 12 to 4 or so,
4 hours,
the TFR goes into effect, and there will be no active rescue missions going on at all. That's right. 0 flying whatsoever. So that's why we decided to put our boys, as many boys as we could, up on the mountain to start doing search and recovery because of that reason. So the TFR is supposed to be lifted sometime around 4 p.m., but you know how the government is, it'll probably go all day. So if, let's say it does end at 4 o'clock and we can actually lift off at 4 o'clock, at best, we're probably going to go do 2 rescue missions before it gets dark, and that's it. When we should be doing rescue missions all day because it's so sunny and nice out and we have good weather, but because of politics, we can't go do our job right now because somebody wants to come here and shake hands and kiss babies and take video that he actually pretends like he cares and probably offer everybody $300, $500 because of the hurricane damage. So that is, unfortunately, the real world politics of what is going here in North Carolina.
I'm so sorry to hear that. And that's just a lack of sensitivity by the staff. Why not, if they can't obviously fly and make these missions at night because they can't see people, then why not come in either in the evening hours or in the wee hours of the morning? Why not get them in place ahead of time, in other words, and think in that regard so they can work with those search and rescue teams. But President Joe Biden visiting Georgia today, and I know that there will be an update any moment now as we hear that he will be with Governor Brian Kemp, and they're going to give a mid-morning update there with highlighting the recovery efforts in Georgia from Hurricane Helene. What our hero pilot is talking about is yesterday. Joe Biden was touring in the Carolinas. And so during that's why in noon to 4, unfortunately, they were not able to make any rescues at that time. And then, of course, Vice President Kamala Harris was briefed on recovery efforts. The Vice President was in Augusta, Georgia, and then did deliver remarks. Today, she is in Wisconsin, so not in that area. I know that yesterday she was criticized by some of the locals as they were giving out, I believe it was $700 or $750 to, I guess, in the form of a card. And so trying to give money to people who, have nothing. And so people are saying, really? After you've doled out all this Ukraine money, I guess you're out of cash. But I have no doubt that more will come. And we know that Congress, which is in recess right now, there are bipartisan calls for them to go back and make sure that they fund this in a special session so that they can make sure that these individuals in like I say, dire situations, it's just horrible that our fellow Americans are clinging to life, and still more than a million people without power. But
they got money for everything else in the world right now, but if they could just get us helicopters, we could fly out there and rescue these people.
I can't even imagine the level of frustration that these rescue individuals, especially these chopper pilots, and again, these are private operators, and so the fact that they're out there and they know there are people, clinging to a log or clinging to, they might be in water.
Terrible. Yeah.
Their home. We've seen this where homes are, and different, areas are detached and floating down. It looks like our streets have turned into rivers, and it's fast-moving water.
My sister-in-law, I went to that wedding out in South Carolina recently, and she actually had it was going to be a short honeymoon. They were just going to go out to Tennessee for a short trip out there, and they were driving out there when this all happened, and pulled up upon that highway that you see the pictures of that was just completely washed away, and they were sitting and completely stopped traffic. Obviously didn't get to see up close what had happened, but they turned around, came all the way back to South Carolina, looked online and saw that the highway had completely washed away. Looks like a complete disaster scene out of a movie out there. It's frightening.
And isn't it strange? It just feels like, to me personally, it feels like the coverage on this is not as, I don't know, aggressive, let's say, national news media. So I know, I flip around. So right now, CNN, they're talking to James Carville about Trump vowing to revoke temporary protected status.
Go yourself.
It's like Elon Musk.
Where'd that come from?
So CNN talking about politics, talking about Trump, and talking about Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio. You have that clip. Do you want to play that with Trump? Did we play
I have no idea
that?
where the Elon Musk clip came from.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't hit that
I
one.
thought you did that on purpose.
No. Yeah, let me pull up give me 1 second. I'll have that for you. I clicked away from it.
Elon living rent free in all of our heads.
Man?
That's hysterical.
That was, yeah, okay. Elon, yeah. Okay,
Well,
here's the Haitian clip.
Springfield is such a beautiful place. Have you seen what's happened to it? It's been overrun. You can't do that to people. They have to be removed.
So you would revoke the temporary protected status?
Absolutely. I'd revoke it and I'd bring them back to their country.
This is the issue, if you remember, that they cut the microphone of J.D. Vance. The issue is of this app, right? The Biden-Harris app that they created so that, and this is a big deal, that we have a process, a legal process in our country, right? That when you apply for your asylum. So what the app did was that it means that you can be in another country, anywhere in the world. If you have this app, you apply for this, and the report is that they will send a plane, a taxpayer-paid plane, this is the claim, and they will send that plane for you and your family, etc., and pick you up and fly over the border, right? So you're not physically crossing a border, but that they will pick you up in the plane and they will bring you to America. And then that's what happened with this particular group. So I will tell you, in Haiti, it's a horrific situation. Gangs have overrun the country and it's violent. It's horrible. The kids are not in school. There are I read one thing, more than 100,000 school children. They're not in school because the gangs burned up the schools, etc. It's a disaster. And so I'm not in any way minimizing that situation. But the problem here is that there are people, asylum seekers around the world, who have gone through a proper process. And so this is a jumping in line. And what Trump and J.D. Vance have said, and others, have said that they're violating our laws, that this is not fair and it's not right, and they're not following the process. And that's in part what J.D. Vance was trying to explain, and that's when they cut his mic. Just want to clarify that. Yes, Dan? I thought you were talking to me. Oh, we need to take a break. Sorry. I know there's so much going on. 855-839-1210. We hopefully will get our hero pilot and hear about his mission. So we'll have that story upcoming. We have great guests for you. We have so much breaking news, and we'll bring you back local too. But on that one, Trump making headlines here just within the past hour as he is promising, yes, he's going to remove these people with temporary status and deport them, including Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio. So we'll talk about it. 855-839-1210, the number to call. Got to talk about my friends at Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding. I'm due for some new windows, so I have a meeting next week. I'm really looking forward to that. Why did I choose Chapman years ago? Because I trust them. I trust them with my home, which is everything to me. And not only do windows and doors and siding, I mean, certainly it improves the energy efficiency of your home, but let's face it, it makes your home more beautiful, and certainly absolutely boost the value of your home, the curb appeal, all of that. So you can trust Chapman, as I do. And for not just windows and doors, you think about siding, you think about shutters, all the choices that they offer. And then for me, on one of the, when we took out some windows and they put in this wall of doors. And so I needed a little help with some carpentry. Expert carpenter Mike did a beautiful job. You would never even know that was a change, that it was something that was not existing. And then I opted to get a little touch-up paint, had the paint that I store in a closet. So yeah, they could take my same paint, touched it up. I mean, it looks amazing and beautiful. And so that's the kind of work. Everything, by the way, up front, in writing. They are so professional and really paying attention to detail. You can call them. You can text 610-431-8898. They're local. They're like-minded. And Mike and Mark Chapman, they started their business more than 3 decades ago. So they are in the community, highly respected, men of integrity. And that's important too. ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Chapman, the name I trust. ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
They're pounding on the door. They're calling on the phone. They're threatening to close your business. If debt has your business on the brink, call Ray Reynolds, the godfather of credit. For over 40 years, Ray Reynolds has helped thousands of customers get millions in cash credit. It's no wonder why they call Ray the godfather of credit. He may even be able to raise your score above 750 before the end of the year. You could even get a new personal or business credit line up to $50,000 within days. If your credit needs a rebuild, call Ray Reynolds and receive a $1,000 cash credit card at closing. Raise your credit score to 750 or more. Call Ray Reynolds at 800-576-2295. 800-576-2295. Learn about Ray's secrets to success and how he can fix and improve your credit score to 750 or more. Call the godfather of credit rebuild, Ray Reynolds, at 800-576-2295. 800-576-2295.
The following is a paid commercial message. I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. So many of you have told me about your plans for the future. Starting a business, buying a home, retiring near your grandchildren. But prices are too high. So let me tell you what I will do about it as president. I will take on price gouging. I will lower the cost of healthcare insurance. We cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors. I'm running to do that for everyone. And I will provide new down payment assistance to first-time home buyers and tax benefits to people who want to start their own business. Donald Trump, well, he wants to give more tax breaks to the wealthy, whereas I will cut taxes for the middle class instead. Because I know working people want to do more than just get by. You want to get ahead, and that's the future you deserve. And that is what I will focus on every day as your president. Paid for by Harris for President.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. Call 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100. 800-290-7100.
California Psychics is the real deal. They helped me out, totally changed my attitude, totally got me psyched to start my business and to take a new path in my life.
At California Psychics, we only connect our customers with the best. We reject 98% of the psychics who apply to us, so we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. New customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Wow, honey, have you seen the electric bill?
Yeah, it's out of control. But have you heard of Navien tankless water heaters?
Tankless? How does that even work?
Well, instead of constantly heating and storing water, it only heats water when we need it. So much more efficient than our giant tank heater.
That sounds great. Let's look into Navien.
Already on it.
Imagine all the hot water you need only when you need it. Bulky tanks are history. Navien high-efficiency tankless is the future. Compact, wall-hung units free up floor space, lower energy bills, longer life than tanks, and a 15-year warranty. Find out more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
So So hopefully soon, any moment, we will certainly take our rescue hero chopper pilot, private pilot, making that rescue. Can't wait to hear about it. And so that's a breaking story that will continue to follow him throughout the day here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. So I'll switch gears a little bit. We have a great guest ahead, and we'll tell you where Trump is tomorrow. Actually, he's in North Carolina for a great military veterans event. Great guest ahead. But I want to update you on what's going on. Central Beirut hit as Israel vows a very strong response to Iran. And again, pointing out to you that this is the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah. That's why our schools are off today, colleges, a lot of businesses, right? Because this is a Jewish, important, high holy Jewish holiday, Rosh Hashanah. And so as we think about the Jewish New Year, and locally, many synagogues, hundreds of synagogues across Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, and across the country, quite frankly, either hiring private security. This is such a sin, and it makes my blood boil, that places of worship are now, because of threats, because of this anti-Semitism, this Jew-hating sentiment that's allowed in America. This is America. These are our fellow Americans. And this has been allowed, and it has been perpetuated. It's wrong, right? So here locally, I'm talking to friends who are like, yeah, we're either local police are helping out or private security. When's the last time you, at your parish, your church, your place of faith, have you had to think about that? And just let that set in if you are a Christian individual, for example. How does that make you feel to imagine that you fear to go to your place of worship? And this is such a fundamental right that we stand upon in our nation. It is horrifying to me. And so we're all affected by this. But in central Beirut, the latest here hit as Israel now vows this very strong response to Iran. This is the latest, as we know that dozens have been killed within the situation. Israeli airstrikes in Lebanon, in Gaza, as they try to root out these terrorists that are unfortunately within Lebanon. And we told you about that. We've talked about this a lot, that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying to people in Lebanon, and remember what I've told you about Lebanon, that this is an area in the Middle East with the largest Christian population, right? And so you have many people here who are on the supporting Israel, right? And so they are not the enemy of Israel, but it's the enemy within who's hiding among innocent civilians and using them as human shields, you see. And so we've had 2 airstrikes hitting central Beirut this week. The second hit, we're told, a health society area. So we're getting those details as we talk about the crisis escalating in the Middle East. And this is on the Biden-Harris administration and failures. Great guest just ahead. Be right back.
This year's election threatens to erode your retirement future.
Susan Sinoski, Downingtown, Pennsylvania. Depending on who wins the election, it's going to affect the economy as a whole. Costs are just skyrocketing. Medical costs, housing, food especially. And when was the last time you ever heard of a tax decrease? And I have to say, I have no fear at all because my money is safeguarded with crash-proof retirement. And with our crash-proof retirement system, our money is not just stable, but it's actually increasing much more than we had expected. That money is always added to our principal without anybody getting a cut of that. It's just ours. We earn it, it goes into our account, and it continues to grow and multiply. We have not had a single loss. I'm election-proof. My entire investment for retirement is protected.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Spring Hill Country Club on October 16th, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
The following is a paid commercial message.
Bob Casey supported radical sanctuary city policies, and Casey said,
I want to be held accountable if something doesn't work out well.
Casey's sanctuary city policies haven't worked out well. They release dangerous illegal immigrants onto our streets. In fact, Casey's sanctuary city policies released one illegal immigrant felon in Philadelphia who then raped a 5-year-old Pennsylvania girl. Casey made us all less safe. Casey not only supports these crazy policies that put convicted felons back on our streets, he'd make things even worse. Casey voted to give illegals with violent criminal records amnesty. Casey supported amnesty even for illegals convicted of domestic violence and child abuse. Rewarding illegals convicted of domestic violence and child abuse? It's insane.
I want to be held accountable.
It's time to hold Casey accountable. It's time for a change. It's time to fire Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. The Dawn Stensland Show on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
We have so much breaking news today, locally, nationally. We'll get into all of it. Great guest coming up just moments away, talking about she represents veterans for Trump, and I know that he has a big event that he's fundraising for, in fact, veterans. He's in North Carolina, Trump is, tomorrow, holding a veterans town hall in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So that's tomorrow night. But the hashtag there, Veterans for Trump. So we'll talk to our gunnery sergeant, Jessie Jane Duff. She's just ahead. And so when we get her, we'll bring her in and have a great conversation about our veterans and talk about, zooming out, zooming in internationally, where we stand, and then looking at our veterans and who she thinks, serves our veteran community better and what policies are important. Do we ever? Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't see your thumbs up. So let's get right to it. Gunnery Sergeant Jessie Jane Duff, so good to have you here this morning. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Motivator. It's great to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely. So, following you on X and thinking about, first of all, I know you have a great event with President Trump holding that veteran town hall in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and the hashtag to follow here, Veterans for Trump. Can you take me through I know your title is Campaign Executive Director, Veterans for Trump. Mm-hmm. What is your job? What are you doing? And what does your job entail?
Well, as Executive Director of Veterans for Trump, it's the most primary thing is voter activation. Veterans tend to vote at a higher rate than their civilian counterparts, at 70% compared to 60%. But we all have work to do, whether it be Christian coalitions, Latino coalitions, women, men. The bottom line, we have to have everybody get out and vote, because we have to ensure that what happened in 2020 does not happen again. We had a lot of people that did not show up. And it's not for a lack of drive or enjoyment or thrill with President Trump. Many people took it for granted that we had such a stable economy, everything was fine, that he was a shoo-in. Nobody dreamed, at least on the Trump side, that we would lose to Joe Biden, who didn't even campaign and couldn't articulate sentences that made us even understand. But, people get complacent. He won in 2016. Why? Because of the wall and the forgotten man and the forgotten woman. Well, he's going to win again now, not just because of the wall and the forgotten man or woman, but the economy, which is creating more and more forgotten men and women because they can't afford to keep up with what the Harris-Biden administration has put into place. So my job has been to ensure that veterans are activated. We have over 600,000 veterans in every single swing state. In Pennsylvania alone, there's over 40,000, I believe, veterans. That is the largest concentration of veterans in the country, and Pennsylvania is a swing state. Knowing that we have Tim Walz, who lied about his rank, basically stolen valor, saying he retired as a command sergeant major when, in fact, he had been reduced in rank to a master sergeant, and claims of serving in combat. This is an offense to every veteran because we all understand that you just don't do that. It's basically saying that, you might have delivered the potato chips to the grocery store, but that didn't make you the CEO of Frito-Lay. So we have somebody who's lied about their military service, and it's insulting to those, particularly those, my brothers and sisters, that did go into combat. Many did not come home. Many lost legs, arms, limbs, have traumatic brain injury. And some lost their families, lost everything because their wives didn't want to wait for them. Whatever it may be, we understand what that sacrifice means. And for somebody to be one heartbeat away from being president, who's taking that and put it literally on campaign websites for 9 years that he was a command sergeant major and never corrected anybody when they gave him kudos for serving in a combat zone, that's just tacky. If you're going to lie about something like that, what else are you going to lie about? So that's my job in 30 seconds, right?
Well, and I'm sure that the other night on Tuesday night, I'm sure that those moderators, it must have just slipped their mind to, I'm sure that question was on their docket.
How could they not bring it up? Yes.
Oops.
How could they not bring that up? That was the elephant in the room. Everybody wanted to hear. What kind of nonsense was he going to spew to justify doing that? And he probably had a big sigh of relief that they didn't ask him that. The biggest problem for him was, having to justify that he lied about going to Tiananmen Square. I don't know that is one of the issues that the American voter was concerned about, though. Granted, conservatives were infuriated by it, but you got to show a pattern of deceit, which he has, a clear pattern of deceit. And even he did lie up there about the abortion bill that he signed. It did allow late-term abortion, and there were babies that died in Minnesota who were survivors of a botched abortion and were left to die. So, he does have a history of a lack of integrity. But the biggest lie that was perpetuated for 9 years, put on campaign websites, was that he even handed out challenge coins, which is known in the military community as an honor to get from a senior person, had them printed up as command sergeant major. This was flagrant. This wasn't a slip. This wasn't, oops, I said the wrong word. I meant to say Iran when I said Iraq, or I meant to say, up when I meant down. I mean, look, I get tongue-tied all the time on television. Yesterday I was trying to blast Tim Walz talking about the debates, and I put Donald Trump's name in there, and I didn't even realize I did.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I was blasting Donald Trump for the problems in Iran, and I was like, what the hell did I just do? But I didn't even know that I did it till I went back and watched the tape. And I was like, oh, my goodness. But what happens? You're flipping names back and forth. Yeah. That happens. But to lie for 9 years, come on.
Yes.
That's disgraceful. It's strategic. It's planned. It was deliberate. That's just inexcusable. So among other things, and then Kamala Harris' inability to acknowledge the 13 Gold Star families, to try to make issue with Donald Trump for going to Arlington National Cemetery, trying to get upset with him because he had photographs taken that the families requested. Is this really the hill you want to die on, lady? Because I'm telling you, you both were given an invitation to attend that ceremony that they had, the dignified ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown. The White House was given an invitation and ignored it. They got the invitation July 28th, and then they got it again at the beginning of August. Now, they may not have been invited to the graves like Donald Trump was, but they were invited to that Tomb of Unknown, and they didn't want to show up because their left-wing media would have shown up and had to cover it. They would have had to talk about why she hasn't said the 13 Gold Star families' names, why they've never picked up the phone and called them. What about the 3 that died in Jordan? Everybody's already forgotten them. Yeah. National Guardsmen that were shot by killed by the Houthi rebels' drone attack. What about all of the 2 Navy SEALs that were trying to stop the Houthi shipment? What about all of our naval warships that have been attacked? And yet they sat there in this debate and Tim Walz had the audacity to say is because we withdrew from the Iran nuclear deal that Iran is now more active. No, what about the billions of dollars that you all have funneled over there? So, I got to keep national security on the tip of everybody's brain, that your sons and daughters, that many people often think the draft won't happen, they've had legislation to start the draft because we can't meet our recruiting goals. Well, gee, surprise, surprise, who wants to serve under Kamala Harris, let alone Joe Biden?
And the latest headline within the past 24 hours was that President Biden directed our U.S. military to help Israel shoot down those Iranian missiles, that U.S. Navy warships in the region fired those interceptors. And so when you think about that and you look at presidents, over the years, or whether we compare Biden-Harris with the Trump policies from the past and the promises in the future, what do you see as somebody who's a military veteran? And then moving forward, is right now as we speak, we obviously have our U.S. Navy warships there. We have our people over there as the world's police as this crisis escalates.
Well, one thing that he's going to have to do is put a lot of the policies that he put in place that Joe Biden reversed. One of the biggest improvements that we had to the VA, the Veterans Administration, was the Mission Act passed by Donald Trump. And it allowed veterans to go outside of the VA for their mental health care. Well, guess what has stopped? They have pulled all those veterans and told them to get back into the VA, which is so unfair to all of them who had therapists outside of the VA system, getting the bills covered, because it's all about money. And people like Tim Walz, when he was actually in Congress, voted against this Mission Act. Why? Because it took the resources out of the VA and put them into private care. And again, the big government people don't want anybody else to get a dollar or a dime. My goodness, we got to make sure it stays in the government, which is not beneficial to those veterans, particularly those that live more than 50 miles away from a VA facility and need mental health care. We want to eradicate suicide among veterans. Then why isn't that the first thing that was getting funded anyway? And it's been reversed. That is just one of several. He had also, Joe Biden, brought back many of the thousands of employees, I believe it was well over 6,000, it might even be higher, that Donald Trump fired because of their inability to provide quality care. He figured out a way to get rid of them. It's not easy to get rid of a federal employee, but he found a way. Well, guess who brought them back? Joe Biden. The complaint was they weren't put on a performance review plan. Well, a PIP. Well, let's just look at this thing. How is it you would get a performance review when we found out you were frauding the system so that veterans were waiting more than 30 days for an appointment, but you were frauding the system so you could get your bonuses and letting them believe that it let the system think they were only waiting 30 days. I don't know if you remember, but way back during the Obama era, there were, I believe, 6 veterans that died in the Phoenix VA when John McCain was still alive, and they found out that they had been put on what's called wait lists for an appointment, 120 days, 180 days. By the time they got into the VA to get their care, guess what? They were so far along with cancer, they died. And the system was showing that they'd only waited 30 days, which was untrue. And they were gaming the system so they could get their bonuses annually. So for me, personally, Donald Trump was the best for the military, and he was the best for that of Americans. We didn't have a new endless war. We got out of one, and they started another. We haven't heard about diplomacy with Ukraine and Russia, and Donald Trump called it right out with Zelensky right at his side. He said, there's going to be some, he didn't use the word negotiation, but sacrifice. There was another word he used, transactional. He said it's going to be transactional, which means one person gets something and somebody else gets something, and you can have, but somebody's not going to get everything. And that's how it's going to go down. And he was very clear with Zelensky. Enough is enough. How many thousands of young Ukrainian men, Russian men have died for a cause they're not even sure what they're fighting for. And American taxpayers keep handing over more and more money, while meanwhile we've got people without homes that wash down rivers and streams and into oceans with this massive hurricane that's killed. The death toll's astronomical. And we have Governor Kemp coming out saying, why aren't you sending the resources into the rural communities? We're finding out that Kamala Harris can't even go do her hurricane briefings. My goodness. So what is it we're doing? We're going to make sure a war is fought somewhere else, but we can't defend our veterans here. We can't take care of our homeless here. So, yeah, that's my job, 30 seconds or less.
Just to give you some reaction, we have our different, we're on YouTube, so we have so many people here saying, Manglemush saying, hell yeah, preach it, saying that you're on fire. and they love it and say, I love this woman. So you're getting a lot of love here in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania.
Well, thank you. Well, you guys are the ones that are going to bring it home. First of all, I'm going to yell this from the rooftops. You guys have the largest concentration of veterans in the entire country in Pennsylvania. I believe the number is 740,000. 1. 2, if every last one of them gets out there and votes, guess what? This is a sweep. Donald Trump has it. Let's bring it home. Let's do this because we voted 70%. Let's take it up to 95%. Let's take it up to 98%. Every last one of you veterans or veteran families out there know somebody who isn't voting. You get them to register and you make sure you drag them by the hair to that. Well, don't drag them by the hair. They may not like you. But get them to that polling station. Get them to vote because you know what? Your vote does matter. You're voting to keep your constitutional rights. You're voting to make sure you have freedom of speech. You are gun owners. Oh, my gosh, they're one of the lowest voting groups because I guess they're afraid of the government for some reason. Well, they're going to take your religious freedom and they're going to take your guns. You're not going to be allowed to say certain things because there's censor-free speech. You got to take this stuff seriously. Ronald Reagan said we were one generation away from losing our freedom, and he said that, 40, 50 years ago. Here we are. The generation clock is up. It is now. This is it. This is the election. And we've always said it's the most important election, but nobody listens. Mm-hmm. That's why it kept getting worse. Drip, 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 worse. Now we've got a flood. We're all up to our eyeballs in water. It's time to get over this water and flush this drain, get the swamp cleared out, get some of these people out of office, and Donald Trump's going to go in with a hammer because you know what? He already knows where the bodies are buried. He already knows who not to trust and who to trust. We don't have to get somebody in there who's going to be this passive-aggressive, I'll do everything for you on day one, when in fact you've had well over 1,000 days to get something done and you haven't gotten anything done.
Man, I love you. I'm you're going to be my ringtone. I'm serious. You're getting so much love.
I'm going to ask the producer a question real quick. Jesse, do you have to go? Because I want to take a call real quick if you wouldn't mind. But if you're tough for time, we'll get you going.
No, I don't have to go. I just have to be. Actually, I'm going to have to get on a call in another minute. So
let me just ask you something real quick here, because I'm seeing a breaking story that U.S. forces in northeastern Syria have came under attack again, 5th assault in 8 days, and that from the Syrian Weekly is reporting this, and all the reaction from many in the military community saying, our military members once again being put in harm's way.
Absolutely.
Your reaction?
Well, this is Kamala Harris who said that we don't have anybody for the first time in this century in a combat zone. We know that is unequivocally false. There's over 15,000 men and women that are deployed in combat zones, getting combat pay. And Syria is one of those locations. We know about the 3 National Guardsmen that were killed in Jordan. We know that we have forces in Iraq. We know that we have naval warships that are right there in the Red Sea that are vulnerable to Houthi attack. The Iranians have been attacking our ships. So here we are, Kamala, first time in century. That tells me you're not attending your national security briefings and you're just reading the comic pages, because that's all that you're demonstrating is that you're nothing but a clown.
Gunnery Sergeant Jessie Jane Duff, please come back again. I know you have another interview coming up, but thank you so much for updating us. We really appreciate you.
Well, actually, it looks like they said, let's see, I'm available now. No, 11:15. I got to get on the call. It's actually not an interview. It's my boss.
Uh-oh.
Thank you,
Me
Jesse.
again, I'll be back, and I'll get everybody. Yeah, I do have a boss, and it's not Donald J. Trump. I have another one. So we all got a layer before we get to the very top. My layer's really, really thick. Trust me, I don't get to walk on DJT's door. No, not Jesse.
Get on that call,
He's
Jesse.
Like,
go.
Gunnery Sergeant.
Thank you. Motivators, take the hill and sign up at TrumpForce47.com. TrumpForce47.com. That's where you can volunteer. You can be a poll watcher. They will give you the locations of people in your own neighborhood. You can knock on doors and get those low propensity voters out there, because they have a 90% chance of showing up if somebody talks to them. Let's do this, Pennsylvania. Win it. If you guys win it, it's going to be like we're going to be in Vegas and we hit the lottery. Let's do this.
Gunnery Sergeant, motivator on the hill. We are motivated. Thank you.
Take it. Thank you.
I just want to make 2 points. One is, Dawn, thank you for introducing me to her. I'm a veteran with a combat tours whose son's in the military, and I didn't want him going in, but the media covers up a lot of what Trump has done for the veterans, and I appreciate you bringing on the Gunnery Sergeant, because it motivated me, especially today, because 31 years ago with the Gothic Serpent or Black Hawk Down incident, and there were 19 Americans. I just want to honor some of my friends who were lost that day too. We lost 19 that day, but the ones I have on my back are Earl Fillmore, Dan Bush, Tim Grizz Martin, Medal of Honor winner Randy Shugart, Medal of Honor winner Gary Gordon, and then Matt Ryerson, and then from New Jersey, Jamie Smith, who was from Morristown, whose father was a Vietnam veteran. So just, thank you for bringing her on. And this weekend, today and tomorrow is the anniversary. Just remember them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your service and for reminding us, as we think about, and there are sites dedicated, obviously, Black Hawk Down. So we think of you, and that's just it. Why our gunnery sergeant, why she does give you that infusion of energy and love and passion. And I know these are tough times in so many ways. And so I think about you, and I appreciate you and appreciate your service. And just know that maybe we don't say it enough, right? We don't say the names enough. But as far as Black Hawk Down, October 3rd, and this tribute is to Black Hawk Down Michael Durant. It's October 3rd, 2019. There are so many different pages online that I was just looking up to pay tribute to the service. So we love you. We thank you. We just give you a big hug across the airwaves for sure. I have to take a quick break. I believe Lair Bear might be calling in. And as well, remember, we have our hero private chopper pilot who is, as we speak, in North Carolina, called to a rescue. And we can't wait to hear about that rescue and just praying for him as well. Be right back.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 40-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost you about $100 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Providers help thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-353-9057. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-353-9057. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life insurance, call 800-353-9057, 800-353-9057, or biglou.com.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This has been a test of the emergency alert system.
Is your car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My mechanic just suggested an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover repair bills if anything happens to the car. New brakes, transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait, you pay nothing on repairs? Ox gets it fixed? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance?
Yeah, you don't pay. Ox pays. Ox even has a 30-day money-back guarantee and is A+ rated on the BBB. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike those other warranty companies.
The last thing I need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-224-8517. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care. 800-224-8517. 800-224-8517. Or go to oxcarcare.com.
You're in hot water, mister.
What'd I do?
I told you months ago our utility bills were getting higher because of that old outdated tank water heater.
Maybe it's time we finally switch to a Navien tankless.
Learn about Navien's high-efficiency tankless water heaters, endless hot water, all while helping you save on your energy costs.
Hey, look at this. Our utility bill is lower since we got the Navien tankless water heater.
Who's in hot water now?
We are, all the time.
Learn more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Be sure to Follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
So a thank you to Rich Zioli's good friend, Jack Carr. If you've ever been to any of those great book signing events, and I was honored to meet him, and my son Michael went with me. But Jack Carr posted, and I just reposted it as well. It was mid-afternoon, October 3rd, 1993, and Eversman's Chalk 4, part of a force of U.S. Army Rangers, Delta Force operators, about to drop uninvited on a gathering of Habergider clan leaders in the heart of Mogadishu. This is Somalia. Black Hawk Down. And so he talks about Task Force Ranger, Operation Gothic Serpent, Battle of the Black Sea. And so he says he's honored to know some of the men who fought October 3rd and 4th, 1993 in the streets of Mogadishu. It is my sincere hope that more of them will one day tell their stories. The next generation needs heroes. And then he points out that October 1st, 2021, 18 Army Rangers receiving Silver Stars for their actions in that battle. And goes on, so to put these things in perspective as to what happened. So
just curious, with Philadelphia ties here to Black Hawk Down, we all, I think a lot of people know Mark Bowden from the Philadelphia Inquirer started with articles, 29 articles that were turned into the book later, Black Hawk Down, then turned into the film.
And that's what I'm quoting from.
Is it?
That's on Jack Carr's post, Black Hawk Down by Mark Bowden. So
did you ever have any association with him?
With Mark?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay. Gotcha.
Over the years?
Yeah. My dad was his editor at one point over at the Inquirer. And said he was a great guy and all that, but just an absolutely fascinating story that, was really done when investigative journalism was at its hottest, and right here in Philadelphia, by a Philadelphian.
And so he's part of what Jack Carr is, as he's talking about this. But on this day, 1993, so October 3rd and October 4th for tomorrow. It's amazing. And no surprise, Jack Carr knows some of these guys, Yeah. So, you can, as we talk about this and you think about veterans, and the reason that we don't talk about it enough is that we have a crisis in our country with veterans, right? And I know Zioli has brought it up to Jack Carr. We've all talked about it. There's a mental health crisis, specifically with two groups, our kids, especially preteens and teens, and then our veterans. And so, we need to praise you and fire you up and make you know that your vote matters, and that former President Donald J. Trump appreciates you, loves you, and his policies, in many veterans' eyes, support you better. And that is a Pew Research poll that says 6 in 10, and this is just dated September 30th, 2024, the latest from Pew Research, saying that military veterans have long tended to affiliate in general with Republicans and the Republican Party, supporting Republican candidates. And just a reminder of Senate candidate, this is Dave McCormick, whose debate is tonight against longtime career politician Bob Casey Jr. So 6 in 10 registered voters, according to this latest Pew Research, 6 in 10 registered voters say they have, who served in the military, are military veterans or reserves. 61% say they support and will vote for President Donald J. Trump in the upcoming election, November 5th. And 37% are backing Vice President Kamala Harris. This is a new Pew Research Center survey that is just out. And so you look at that, it's growing. Those numbers are up for Trump in general. Do we have to take a quick break? Yep, quick break. We appreciate you. 855-839-1210 if you want to sound off. I thought my husband Larry, my better half Larry Mency, we'll talk about better halves and
really
worse halves.
Stood up right now, Dawn?
What's that?
Cool. I said, are you really being stood up by your husband? This isn't cool.
Larry Bear, are you standing me up?
Yeah, right? It's like going to a restaurant. You sit there and order some drinks. You're like, well, are they going to show?
And you know what we're going to talk about around the corner, too?
What's that?
Guess who is maybe this is the worst half, but this is, the moderator the other night from CBS News who interrupted J.D. Vance.
Yeah.
Well, a little news release about her hubby and his past and current affiliations.
We talking Marge here?
Yes.
Oh, Margaret Brand.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
So we'll talk about that. Same with Dana Bash. Remember Dana?
Yeah.
Yeah, her hubby, remember that? It was her ex at least. We'll talk about all of that and the breaking news of the day. And remember, we've got our hero chopper pilot is going to call in any moment over the skies of North Carolina and making some rescues. Be right back.
59 overnight, partly cloudy. For tomorrow, some clouds in the morning, but we'll see some sun in the afternoon, high 77. Friday, 77 again. A few clouds here and there, but Saturday, we're supposed to have a lot of sunshine, high 79. Sunday looks about the same, just a little cooler.
They're pounding on the door. They're calling on the phone. They're threatening to close your business. If debt has your business on the brink, call Ray Reynolds and receive a $1,000 cash credit card at closing. Raise your credit score to 750 or more. Call Ray Reynolds at 800-576-2295. 800-576-2295. Learn about Ray's secrets to success and how he can fix and improve your credit score to 750 or more. Call the Godfather of Credit Rebuild, Ray Reynolds, at 800-576-2295. 800-576-2295.
This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you ready for retirement? Have you prepared everything you need? Well, in Investor Schooling, we will teach you ways to better prepare for your retirement using real estate and the stock market. But you need to learn how to do it right, and that's what we teach. At Investor Schooling, we sell nothing but education. Come to Investor Schooling and learn how to have a better retirement. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now for this Thursday's class at 7 o'clock. Go to investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinhaus with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/gutter to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/gutter. That's leaffilter.com/gutter.
Hey, did you hear? Wawa has classic hoagies for just $6.
Any classic hoagie?
Yeah, any classic hoagie.
What about the cheesesteak?
$6.
Meatball?
$6.
What about the Italian hoagie?
It's $6 for a classic. I shouldn't even have to ask, but what do you want for lunch?
Hoagies at Wawa, of course.
Right now, get any Wawa classic hoagie for $6. Gotta have a Wawa.
Hey, Riverton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
So there's a local story. This is, I know that some of it, I know 6ABC and I think NBC 10 picked it up. Philadelphia Magazine did it. That a local couple, Chester County couple, they had voted for Trump in the past and they were Republicans, but now they are anti-Trumpers, if you will, and they're in that ad that is pro Kamala Harris. They're saying now they're going to vote for Harris, the vice president, rather than Trump, even though they're saying that in the past they claim that they were Republicans. So I know Dan had a little audio on it, but they're saying that, and this is not right, they're saying that they've been threatened because they're a local couple, Chester County, Pennsylvania, and that they've actually received threats.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole piece on Philly Mag about them, delving into the how they become victims with a lot of internet hate being levied their way after these allegations. And the allegations really went hot viral when Dinesh D'Souza tweeted out a clip that was from Sky News. If you want to hear it, take a listen. Well, thought I had it. What's going on here? Yeah, well, don't have it yet.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
So Philadelphia Magazine has a full article on them. I believe that the insinuation that I had heard was that this couple, that they are allegedly professional actors and that they were paid actors.
Yeah, I got it now. Here you go.
Okay.
Now, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz have been accused of deliberate misinformation. They've released a political ad that claims to depict two former Trump voters who live in Pennsylvania and who have switched to Team Kamala after the horrors of January 6th. But this pair of farmers shown in the ad appear to, in fact, be two actors, Robert Lang and Christina Chadwick, and they have an extensive history of co-show of donating to the Democrats and leftist causes dating back to at least 2016. For a party that talks endlessly about the dangers of disinformation and misinformation, they engage in plenty of it.
So that's the clip. I don't know. They are they farmers and actors? I mean, I don't know. But the claim here, and I've heard this, obviously, and that was not my sourcing on it, that they allegedly are paid actors. I will just say this. Philadelphia Magazine says that they reviewed some of these nasty comments and I guess voicemails or what have you. That's not right. That's not who we are. Leave them alone. I mean, to threaten people, it's one thing to go on X, on social media, and say, well, I looked them up and here's the information and this is a lie or whatever you want to say. But to, go after people and actually threaten physical harm, well, that could result, and I hope it does result in if it's true, if all this is true and they really were threatened, then I certainly hope that law enforcement was called. And where is that police report? Because there should be a police report on this. And they absolutely, if somebody is threatening you because you are who you are or who you're going to vote for or whatever, then you should file a police report and say, here's the death threat or here's the physical threat, etc. And that the police should investigate that. And there are ways to track that. So is there a police? My question is, number one, are these individuals actually paid actors, or are they farmers, or are they both? Number one. Number two, my next question is, did they report this to police? So do you see that in the Philly Mag article?
So Philly Mag did get in, like they asked them directly about their political history.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mention whether or not they're actors, but there's a lot of fact checking out there that are pointing towards them not being actors. But they say in the Philly Mag article, quote, Bob voted for Trump in 2016 and 2020. Christina went Trump in 2016 but abstained in 2020. Christina tells Philadelphia Magazine that she felt that, quote, Trump failed America when it came to the COVID crisis and that she just couldn't vote for him again. But she says she also couldn't push the button for Biden in 2020. For Bob, Trump was a reluctant choice in 2020. But after January 6th, I said never again, Bob says.
And so they do. Philadelphia Magazine reports that they have confirmed police. It was reported by this couple, and police are investigating. Well, you know what? If you threatened anybody, whether you're a Democrat and you're threatening a Republican, or you're a Republican threatening a don't threaten people. What is that? That's not right. That's horrible. But the allegation here, and I have no idea whether or not they're actors. They look like they're a happy couple. They have a beautiful land, whatever.
I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree, and I call this one out as kind of BS. There's a guy that's posting about it, Twitter and all, and essentially what he's alleging is that Hayride to Hell was a documentary that these two put together. They premiered it at Center Film Festival, State College, Pennsylvania. They have credits because of the film. The film features interracial gay fathers who find themselves raising a child after one dad becomes a widower, and another about the struggle of illegal immigrants. I can't even find much on the film itself, so I can't even verify that, Dawn. But the allegations are that because they made this film and because the wife serves on the board of a local theater, that they're professional actors. I don't know if that's really a tie that is.
Well,
indeed. Does that make them professional actors? I don't think so.
I don't
to be
know.
quite honest.
And the bottom line is,
I mean, I appeared in a B film once. Does that make me a...
What?
No, I didn't actually.
Oh.
I had an offer to. It was
Wow.
one down the shore with a wrestler named Gene Snitsky was in it as well. Yeah.
La-di-da. Well, look, I mean, I don't know who threatened them, but if they did, then I hope police find that person and deal with it and charge this person, and we'll report it to you. But on the other hand, if somebody claims that they were threatened in it, just like the Jussie Smollett thing, and I don't think that, I actually think Philadelphia Magazine, it's Victor, by the way, it's Victor Fiorillo. Victor, I think Victor talked to the cops. They think this is real. The threats are real. So Victor, he's a veteran. So I don't think that there's anything funny with this. And I think, by the way, if they were paid actors, I think Victor would have reported it. I do. He's a good guy.
Victor.
Huh?
I have different thoughts on
You do? No, I've known Victor.
Oh, no, you know what? He's a fantastically respected and honest journalist. He's going to report the truth.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. Yeah. There's just a lot in his column that is questionable.
Okay.
From time to time. But.
Well, we will continue to follow it. Don't make threats. Put that energy. Think of our sergeant. We got to get some clips from our great sergeant. I love her. We got to have her on. She's like my motivation. Motivators on the hill. I mean, I just love that.
Hello, motivators.
Hello, motivators on the hill. Get motivated. I mean, she was so high energy and awesome. So we are highly motivated right here on the Dawn Stensland Show. I don't know where my husband is. He is not a motivator on the hill, and he is in big trouble. He is Larry.
What is he doing?
He's Larry who's going to get knocked down the hill.
This is bad. Larry, where are you?
You know what he probably did? He probably ran an errand, or he's out, and he missed my
Have you
response
texted with him?
text.
Because I'm concerned. Is he okay?
Oh, his phone probably died.
Yeah, okay. Does
Whatever.
that happen often? Is he the kind of guy that just leaves the phone behind? And
Oh yeah, he probably lost the phone.
I'm throwing stones in a glass house here because that's me with my wife.
Here's the thing. So mentees lose stuff. Can I just tell you something? I could go on and on. He is somebody who he could recite, pick it, whether it's like the Gettysburg Address, he can recite it. Like, he's a brilliant guy, right? And has like 100 Emmys and Edward R. Murrows and all this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but ask him, where is your wallet and where are your keys? No clue.
No clue.
Where are my shoes?
I don't think that's just a Larry thing. I think that's an entire sex thing or gender.
Is it?
Gender or sex.
All right. Well, so
yeah, because I'm terrible. Like, I'll lose my keys often and the wallet, and he makes a lot of fun of me for it.
the other day I get a call, like it's like, I don't know, White Marsh Police or something. I go, I get a call on my cell. I don't know how they got my cell. They call
nerve-wracking.
and they're like, "Oh, hey, Dawn, is this? We have Larry's wallet." I'm like, "What?" He didn't even know he lost it. Okay.
I love that they have your personal. This happens so often that they have your personal cell number on speed dial.
I mean, it's just, and his brother's the same way. Bobby's the same way, who lives in Lansdale in Montgomery County, and they lose stuff. And like my sister-in-law Peggy Ann, she says, yeah, Bob lost his wallet at the airport, and somebody finds it at the airport and lives close to us, dropped off the wallet in our mailbox before Bob got home from the airport. I mean, so they always find their stuff. Like, if I lose something, which I rarely do, it's stolen or it's gone. But with them, there's always some weird way that it makes it back home. It's the craziest thing. I don't know if you lose stuff or if you're married to somebody who loses
back
stuff.
home, that's nice.
Always makes his way back home.
So Suze loves Jeffy. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Please go like and subscribe. Like and subscribe does us huge favor. Like. She writes, Dawn was in The Fugitive. Am I remembering that right? Were you in the film The Fugitive with Harrison Ford?
Yes, because they filmed it in Chicago. You have such a eagle eye. It's just a glimpse. But it was back in the day, and I worked for CBS at that point. CBS in Chicago. This was before I worked for CBS here in Philadelphia, CBS 3. So they needed extras and they wanted real reporters. And so at the time they wanted me in the reporter pool during Tommy Lee and Joe Pantanello Joe, and I'm trying to remember who else was there. Harrison Ford, right? Harrison Ford.
Are you credited in the film, or is it just a background?
I don't have a speaking role.
Okay.
And so they wanted a bunch of us. I think John Drummond, who was a legendary investigative reporter. I was like a young cub reporter, but they wanted a bunch of people. So I think some of the veteran reporters, they got speaking roles to ask a question. But I'm in the crowd of the reporters shouting questions.
Julianne Moore in the film,
Yeah.
Jane Lynch in the film. Wow.
I didn't meet them. I think
No?
some of the guys, though, I saw. They feed you. You have to hang out for the day or half a day, and they have a ton of food and a great spread. It was fun. It was a great experience. But
Were you in any other films that you want to share? Because I didn't know this at all, and I'm fascinated by it.
I was an extra. I was on the. Should we talk about? We can talk about it around the corner. I'll tell you.
Cool.
This is a fun story.
Love it.
855-839-1210. We'll be right back. Hey, it is October. We're officially in fall road trip season. I know maybe you have some important road trips this weekend, and it means you're going place to place. Is your vehicle ready to go place to place? My friends at Piazza Premium Automobiles, they're always going to take care of you, and they're going to help make sure that you and your family are safe out on the roads. These service centers of the Piazza Premium dealers not only handle all your regular needs and your regular maintenance stuff, but they're also going to diagnose those possible issues before they happen and certainly before you hit the road on the big road trip. So schedule a service appointment online today, PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com, Piazza, PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com for that dealer nearest you across Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey. PiazzaPremiumAutomobiles.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Media Theater in Media, Saturday, November 16th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
The following is a paid commercial message. I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. So many of you have told me about your plans for the future. Starting a business, buying a home, retiring near your grandchildren. But prices are too high. So let me tell you what I will do about it as president. I will take on price gouging. I will lower the cost of healthcare insurance. We cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors. I'm running to do that for everyone. And I will provide new down payment assistance to first-time home buyers and tax benefits to people who want to start their own business. Donald Trump, well, he wants to give more tax breaks to the wealthy, whereas I will cut taxes for the middle class instead. Because I know working people want to do more than just get by. You want to get ahead, and that's the future you deserve. And that is what I will focus on every day as your president. Paid for by Harris for President.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie. Tune in to Your Radio Doctor every Saturday afternoon at 5 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT for the latest healthcare news and information, because your health is your wealth. That's Your Radio Doctor, Saturdays at 5.
Honey, I'm going to Wawa for dinner.
Okay, but Ben wants pizza.
Yup.
And Nick wants a burger and fries.
Right.
Oh, and the twins, they won't touch anything except for mac and cheese.
Exactly. Wawa has something for everyone for dinner, so I only have to make one stop to make everyone happy. So, what do you want?
Well, if you're going to Wawa, I have to have a hoagie.
From burgers to hoagies and everything in between, Wawa has dinner for everyone.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 1039 FM.
Former University of Delaware student gets more than 7 years behind bars for cyber-stalking 2 former classmates and fraudulently applying for COVID relief loans. Weekend roadwork on I-76 gets delayed because of the upcoming Phillies playoff series. And Senator Bob Casey and challenger Dave McCormick take the debate stage tonight in Harrisburg.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Keeping free speech alive. Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
Okay, so we got to get to this Melania Trump. A lot of reaction. What does Melania Trump have to say about abortion? That in just a sec. I'll just wrap up. I was on. So do you remember Drew Carey?
Yeah.
The Drew Carey show.
Yeah.
Closbeer. So this was when, I worked as a main anchor, 6 and 11 p.m. news anchor at the NBC station in Cleveland, Ohio, along my career path. in my different life because I've lived many different lives. So the Drew Carey show, because he's originally from Cleveland. So he reached out to me and asked me, would I be on his show, which was in Los Angeles? And so I did, because he thought he just got a kick out of it. That because he was at a competing network, and he loved the fact that an anchor from Cleveland, we were number one station.
Did you have a speaking role there?
I think I did. It was
Hey, we gotta find that.
I still have a bottle of Buzz beer as like a trinket.
So is it on like the Drew Carey show itself, like the sitcom?
I think it was a walk-on, but I think I said so. I can't remember.
All right, we got a huge audience out there, a lot of YouTubers that care a lot.
I'll have to find it.
Yeah, do us a favor. If there's Drew Carey show streaming,
I know I gotta
track
it down.
To the show, and if you happen to see Dawn at some point, just tell us when that is. That'd be fantastic.
But he was so funny, great guy, and it was neat. It was like a tribute to a little homage to his hometown. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Right?
Yeah, it's like when they did 6ABC and Jim Gardner on the school show that's on 6ABC.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was fun. Well, the difference, though, is his show was on ABC, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't on NBC. I was at the NBC station.
Oh, so he was doing like
so he was a little oppo, so it was a little shiv to the other network.
Was there any local drama when that happened? And then
a little bit, but nobody cared.
Oh, okay.
It was just all in fun. Who cares? Great guy, very funny. So in this one, this is former First Lady Melania Trump, and she is posting these videos, obviously promoting her memoir, her book, and talks about the abortion issue. Do you have this, Dan?
Individual freedom is a fundamental principle that I safeguard. Without a doubt, there is no room for compromise when it comes to this essential right that all women possess from birth: individual freedom. What does my body, my choice really mean?
Ooh,
Yeah,
I
nice
find
little
that
piece there.
it's more of a tease. To me, that's more of a tease. What does it mean? So that's is she stating her view? People are, unless there's more, but people are inferring that she's saying that she is pro-choice. Do you infer that from that clip? 855-839-12. We don't even have time to take a call right now. We're too close, I think, to the Dom show, aren't we?
Yeah, we're getting there.
We're getting there.
Hey, so today they were talking about Melania on The View, and Sunny Hostin expressed how she thinks Melania Trump feels about her husband.
I think she hates him.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, so we can all
That's a
agree on
given.
that. That's a given. I also think that she wants to take him out. She does not want to be the first lady anymore.
They agree with you.
She doesn't want to be the first lady. She destroyed the Rose Garden. Who hates Christmas? Melania Trump hates Christmas. She
What?
doesn't want to decorate for Christmas. She doesn't
don't
want
care.
to.
She doesn't care about that.
She
Can't tell if that's from today or if that's an older clip, but either way, that's... Oy.
Sonny, what's going on with Sonny? I think that things are a little shady at home. Sonny is projecting her own, maybe her own home situation. I don't know. Remember we saw her home? She was featured somewhere and has this gorgeous mansion and has a husband and kids. Looks like a beautiful family, but maybe, I don't know, she's projecting her own husband hatred. I don't know.
It was today. Wow. It
Was
sounded like-
today?
Yeah, it sounded like it was something in the past, but yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it just happened, yeah.
Or is it, look, here's the thing. I don't know from that clip. What I infer is that it's a tease, right? But I think what Melania is saying, whatever her opinion is, it's a free country. And how many husbands and wives have a difference of opinion? And so Melania, to me, this shows she's a strong-minded woman. Whatever her opinion is, it's her own. Good for you. You be you. I don't really have a problem with that. As far as Sonny, what woman hasn't hated her husband at any given moment?
She doesn't want to sleep in the same room with him.
What?
She can't tolerate him.
Allegedly.
And she does.
Yeah, how do you
Thank
know
you.
all this?
Yeah, I was like, I
Thank
don't
you,
know.
Whoopi.
know all this.
Allegedly. That's why I say it.
Thank you, Whoopi.
She told me is what she says.
Right? This is Whoopi Goldberg. Give Whoopi some credit, would you? Whose name is appropriately Whoopi. Like, she would know about people who has Whoopi and not. But Whoopi Goldberg is, at least says the alleged. Sonny has no clue, and so I'm just saying she was mad at her own husband that day. Melania Trump has
projecting.
Yeah, she's projecting. She
it.
has her own opinions. Right?
That's terrible. Like, and to think like that he's returning to Butler this weekend, like, and you're talking about, quote, taking him out. It's talk about the rhetoric, Dawn. Jeez.
Well, no, and they'll never say anything nice. Could you just say something nice? There have been 2 attempts on this man's life already. And by the way, the federal prosecutors in the case of the prosecution of the accused attempted assassin, Ryan Ruth, yesterday, and I know I reported this a couple times earlier this morning on Kale and Company, but Ryan Ruth, those federal prosecutors, we need to delay indefinitely. We need more time. And so I'll just ask you, look at that and think about that for a moment. In one case, you have the guy, you have the firearm, right? You have the witness who videoed him in the getaway vehicle. Remember, Trump talked about that, and we played that audio. And so you have a lot of evidence stacked up against the guy. Now, granted, they have the guy in custody and on these charges, but they want to delay. They don't want any more court appearances. They want an indefinite delay. You know what that means? That means that you get your information. I'll say this as a longtime news reporter. Where you get your information is you sit in court. You send a reporter, you sit in court, and you get all this information because you have to, by our laws in the United States, right? We're all paying as taxpayers for his defense, which is, everybody gets a defense. And so the one place that you get all the facts and all the details is in the court. So by those federal prosecutors trying to shut it down, essentially, and delay the prosecution and saying they need more time to investigate, what they're really doing is, past, Your Honor, can we just have until, like November 10th? That's what's going on here. It's not in the news. So that's my news perspective. Dom Giordano is here, and Dom, we're awaiting this phone call from this hero pilot. Hopefully,
I haven't heard from him in a while. I'm kind of concerned.
Well, I hope he's okay, but he promised he would call. Dom, I hope he calls into your show now and gives you the update of hopefully a rescue mission completed.
Absolutely, Dawn. Thanks for paving the way with that. We put our best man on it. Henry's in the back right now.
Awesome.
Hey.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, Vic,
He tricked me. That was a trick.
Wow, Dawn.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thanks a lot.
All right. So, Dawn, to your point there about holding things up, this Inspector General's report being held up, Thomas Massey, we're trying to get him on. They don't want us to know about how many FBI assets were involved in January 6th. We're going to ask John Yoo about that a little bit later in the show. He's probably one of the best attorneys that we ever have on. And I have the guy leading the strike talking about Easy Pass just last week. This guy is a menace.
Uh-oh. I can't wait to hear about it. Dom's show is right now.